Right guys, in this video I'm going to do a bit of match reaction to the game last night. I'm also going to be covering a few bits of news off that have come out over the past few days. But before I get to all of that, if you like this video, give it a like. Put a comment down below. I'm enjoying the conversation I've got going with a lot of you down there, bouncing the ideas off you. And if you're new here, subscribe as well so you can keep up to date with everything else that I've got going on. Now, to the match reaction. Let's just start off with when the squad was announced last night. Well, not last night, but like, you know, in the build-up before the lineup was announced. And Trent wasn't there. Straight away I was like, why is he not in the squad? He hardly played at the World Cup, but we've got Henderson that played nearly every single game for England in there. We've got Fabinho in there. And then when I saw the City lineup and they had Ake, and I was like, well, where's Van Dijk? If Ake can play, why can't Van Dijk play? But anyway, guys, so as soon as I saw that squad, I was like, we're definitely playing Milner at right back. He's been playing there all over in Dubai. And I just thought, we're going to get found out here. And it turned out to be true. Balls constantly get put in behind him. So for me, I would have started Gomez at right back and put Phillips at centre back. That's how I would have started the game. For me, Milner can't play right back. He's too exposed there. He needs to be in the middle of the park if he's going to play at all. You know, where he's got a little bit of backup around him. Not out on a wing where pace can just leave him for dead, basically, guys. Gomez, again, mentioning him. He was at fault for the first goal. He's got to beat Haaland to that one. You know, put your weight behind it. Get there before him. Just beat your man. He just swung a leg at it and, you know. It was a Kevin De Bruyne masterclass last night again. He was like the most dominant person on the pitch, I thought, in my opinion. And Darwin, it just, you know, it's good that he's getting into these positions where he's getting these chances. You know, if we'd have played Firmino, would he have been able to get in there and get these chances? I don't think so. But it's getting a bit annoying now, isn't it? Where he's just missing so many chances now over the course of games. And the chances were getting easier, I felt like, as the game was going on. And he still kept putting them wide. It's like he's going for power instead of like actually finishing it. Like he's just putting his foot straight through it. And he's not actually like got any technical aiming behind it or anything. You know, I think he might be one of these players that needs continuity, where he needs a run of games, and perhaps the World Cup came at the wrong time of it for him, because he didn't really like the World Cup, did he, if we're being honest? I know like Uruguay were disappointing as a whole, but he didn't score. Yeah, let's give him a few more games. Hopefully Aston Villa comes back around and bounces back. You know, he needs to get them goals going in now, especially with the injuries we've got up front. Like him and Salah need to start getting some goals in. You know, he did a good assist for Salah yesterday. Like, he's got the pace. So apparently Bobby's going to be back for Aston Villa. So for me, you know, Núñez goes back out on the wing and Bobby goes through the middle. So let's see what happens against Villa. But yeah, Darwin, 3 golden chances to score. You've got to at least be hitting the target with him. Have to hit the target. So I think as well for this game, it was so obvious that in midfield, again, as it has been all season, is where we are lacking. You know, Elliott seemed off it today. Thiago was pretty decent. It was good to see Fabinho actually throwing his weight around and getting into some tackles. Henderson there with his intensity when he came on. But he can't do that for 90 minutes anymore. As you know, over a long period of time anyway, you know, without no breaks and stuff. So we definitely need reinforcements in midfield. It's not something that we don't know. It's not something that the club are not actively looking towards doing. But yeah, guys, we're out of the Carabao Cup. With the injuries, it might be a blessing in disguise. You know, we don't have as many games to play with the injuries we've got at the moment. So let's wait and see. We've got Villa on Boxing Day, so we need to win there. Need the W there, guys. Right, so that's my match reaction for the game. You know, let's see what happens against Villa. Now, Neil Jones has mentioned that Liverpool are looking at extending Ketia's contract, but in the same sentence that he also put something like, but they would like to see him actually play some games, which I thought was quite funny. But don't we all, Neil? We all would like to see Ketia play more games. And for me, it's too late. Like, from what I've read and seen and been told, is that Ketia actually like wants to leave the club. He doesn't want to be at Liverpool anymore. And to be fair, I don't think the majority of us fans want him to be there anymore. He's been a disappointment. You know, we had the whole thing of him joining, the big build-up where we bought him a year before. Gerrard handed him the number 8, and he's just not lived up to it at all. You know, Klopp was saying before we signed him that him and Thiago were the best midfielders in the Bundesliga.
We haven't seen that from Ketia at all. There was rumours today that AC Milan are going to put a £10 million bid in for him. I'd snap that up, because we're going to lose him for nothing in the summer anyway. But I don't believe them rumours, because as far as I'm aware, AC Milan do not require a midfielder, so why would they spend 10 million on a player that they could potentially be interested in when they could just sign him for nothing when it comes to the summer? I don't believe them rumours, guys, and that leads into my next story, which is we're in silly season now, and we're seeing a lot of stuff flying around about players linked with Liverpool. And you've got to think as well, guys, just so you know, like, a lot of these newspapers and articles and websites are trying to stay relevant, so they are rehashing and just regurgitating a lot of the same stories, but just changing it a little bit. Or you might see a title which could be like, Liverpool have put a bid in for so-and-so, so-and-so, but then the article itself is actually an opinion piece and not actual fact. So you need to be watching what you're seeing out there, guys, and not just judging stuff by its title. Like yesterday, for instance, or a couple of days ago now, it might have been, we had the news from CM Journal in Portugal that Liverpool had a bid rejected for Enzo Fernandez around 100 million because they were holding out for 120 million, right? And then we had another Portuguese paper the same day, The Record, which I think was like the paper that first got onto the whole Darwin to Liverpool story. They said that the bid did go in, but it wasn't from Liverpool. And then the Italian papers, who I don't know how they'd know this compared to the Portuguese papers, they were going on about saying that Liverpool are preparing a monster bid for Enzo Fernandez. Now, like I said, guys, just then, it is silly season, and we've got to watch everything that we're being told and everything that's out there right now, because, as I've said, they're trying to stay relevant, are these newspapers and the websites. Are Liverpool interested in Enzo Fernandez? Of course. But there's Real Madrid that are also interested. Chelsea, Man City, potentially Newcastle. All these teams are interested in Enzo Fernandez. And they're going to start putting stuff out there where it'll be like, Fernandez chooses Liverpool over others. So Liverpool fans get excited. Click the article and start sharing it. Do you know, like, we've got to be a little bit careful, guys, with what we're seeing now. I do think that Enzo Fernandez would come to Liverpool. I do think that Liverpool are in for him. But at this moment in time, I don't think there's any sort of agreement in place whatsoever. As well as also this, guys, we saw something, with a case in point of this, with Jude Bellingham the other day. So last week, the Bild in Germany were saying that Liverpool are miles ahead of everybody else in signing Jude Bellingham. This week, they're saying it's Real Madrid. As far as I'm aware, the German teams haven't come back yet to play in the Bundesliga because they're on their traditional winter break. So how are they knowing all this? How are they getting all this information together? Or is it the fact that because there's nothing going on in the Bundesliga, they're trying to stay relevant by making a story? Normally the Bild is like quite reliable, to be fair, with stuff that goes on. But I can guarantee you next week, or maybe the week after, they'll do a story where it'll be another team that's in charge of the race for Bellingham. Or it might go back to Liverpool. Do you know what I mean? They're trying to just stay relevant. So that's my stuff for the Enzo Fernandez stuff, guys. Yes, Liverpool are interested. Has a bid gone in? I don't think so. I still think they're talking. I still think that they're interested. They're still scouting. I think they could be going in there in the summer for definite. But it all depends on where Liverpool finish in the league. If Liverpool don't finish in the top four, I can't see him going and signing somebody like that. The kid's just won the World Cup. Is he going to go play in the Europa League? Or if we miss out in the Europa League, the Conference League? I doubt it. Do you know what I mean? So to finish all this off, guys, I'm going to go to this article that came out in The Athletic yesterday by Simon Hughes. And it's titled, "Is This the End of an Era at Liverpool?" And basically it covers off in the first part that filming restrictions were in place at Liverpool's training base in Dubai. And it's got people talking that maybe there was something going on, like visiting the team's hotel. He puts here that there was visitors to the team hotel. Billy Hogan was there, and he was also in Qatar. And we do know that there is apparently interest from Dubai and a Saudi-Qatar consortium, allegedly. Even though we've potentially heard that consortium's gone its separate ways and they're doing a separate bid each. Who knows? We don't know nothing, guys. Like, it's all NDA'd up to the eyeballs. You've got to think as well that it's a multi-billion-pound deal, and people that are generally billionaires have got some sort of ego about them. So we're not seeing any names, because if it comes out like so-and-so is interested in buying Liverpool, then, and they lose, that's going to look bad on them, isn't it? Like, just take that HSBE. Like, we know they tried to bid for Chelsea and they lost. Now, we don't want them as our owners at Liverpool. Yes, because they don't really have much wealth compared to some of the other people that are being rumoured. Yes, because they're American, just like FSG. But also because we've just found out they couldn't buy Chelsea, which is supposedly cheaper than buying Liverpool. And in that situation, when all these names are flying around for buying Chelsea, that was a completely different situation, where that sale had to be done by a certain deadline because of what was going on in Ukraine with Abramovich. This sale of Liverpool could go on for as long as FSG want it to, because there is no actual deadline. There is no pressure whatsoever for FSG to actually sell the club. So, you know, there was a similar situation to that in China a few years ago, when we were trying to get investment for from China for the main stand build, but it didn't happen. No investment came from China, but we didn't have we had filming restrictions around that whole Chinese base when we were over there training. You know, you got to think as well, could this potentially be because we're trying to come up with something new and we don't want it leaked to other teams? You know, we had that intensity book that came out, and it's got a few details in there, guys, where it goes on about how we play and how we do this, that and the other. Has that given away some of our secrets? Who knows, guys? Just be a little bit aware of stuff like that with speculation. But the last bit of this article, which I found was very interesting, goes on about like Mike Edwards and Julian Ward and Ian Graham. And there's actually like a quote in here from someone supposedly very close to Michael Edwards. And they state that, and I'm going to read this now, Eddie is a strategist and things around him don't happen by accident. That to me says the reason he's left is because he does plan on going somewhere else. And is that the reason why Ian Graham and Julian Ward have left also, because he's getting the band back together? It'd be very interesting to see what happens with this, probably in the summer. I don't think we'll see anything now. If he's going to go to another Premier League side, I'd say it's most likely going to be Man United, because we've just seen Chelsea hire somebody else already. I hope he doesn't, you know, because he did good things. Like, did Michael Edwards, like, did he potentially leave because of the whole not having enough money to do what he wanted, and he just saw that his reputation was going to drop because he couldn't keep doing what he was doing with the money he was being provided? Where if he's going to go to United, he's going to have more money to spend on players and enhance his reputation by turning Manchester United back into the club that they used to be. Potentially, guys. Who knows? Anyway, guys, that's all the news I'm going to cover off today. Let me know down below what you think on everything. Give the video a like and subscribe if you're new here. And I'll catch you in the next one.